Model bus fans, welcome to the annual recap of some of the stuff we released this year, and we'll talk a little bit about some of the buses we have coming out in 2024. I'm Jeff Silver, the bus boss at Iconic Replicas, and this is just a little recap of some of the excitement that we have brought to the model bus collector community this year. Starting off, we kind of dabbled a little bit in 164. This is our Excelsior transit bus. Getting mixed kind of reaction. I was thinking we'd have a lot more sales on this, and although we did sell out in the original New York City paint scheme, we still have the Select bus as well as Los Angeles in stock, as well as some blanks if you want to customize your own 164 scale. And these are about 8 inches long. They're a little bit bigger than the 187 that we normally do, but a lot more detail given the fact that it is about 20 times larger than the 187 buses. Fast forward to this interesting bus, which nobody saw. It is Scenic Cruiser in 172 scale. We did this for the Bobby Hotel in Nashville, and some of you may or may not know this, but the 9-story hotel has an actual Scenic Cruiser that was lifted onto the roof, and they created a bar out of it. So the entire side of the bus lifts up. Just Google Bobby Hotel Scenic Cruiser and you'll see the pictures yourself. But these buses are sold in every mini bar in the hotel. So kind of a cool release that we did. Canadian Greyhound, of course, they went defunct and no longer in business. And we did this 5-bus set, which represents 5 decades of Greyhound. We have a few left of these sets. It's a great value at $139.95 for 5 buses. And everything from the 1950s with the PD 4104 up to the MC7, the MC9, the Prevost X345, and this D4500 from MCI. Just search Greyhound Canada, that'll come up on the website. One of my favorite buses is actually this Brill CD44. It's a transit bus that I remember riding as a kid, and has never been done in die-cast that I know of, and took a lot of research to get this bus out to the market, but we've done it in Montreal, Philadelphia, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and Trailways. Trailways actually operated a few of these on some commuter runs in Texas. So kind of a neat bus, a vintage bus from the 1950s, 1960s. If you're an HO model railroader trying to model that era, this bus fits perfectly in that time frame. We did this Eagle Model 10 last year, but here is the first combo cargo bus that Greyhound operated. You'll notice that Greyhound was mostly an MCI fleet, but when they took over Trailways, they of course assumed the entire fleet of Eagle buses, which were exclusive to Trailways, and they just repainted them, and some of the buses ended up on cargo routes where half the bus was converted to a cargo carrying coach, and the front half, 20 passengers, was for people. So kind of a neat piece. This double-decker is a Van Hool TDX. We did these for Venture Bus Lines and out of Virginia. Fabulous bus company, beautiful buses. This one, they have a partnership with Old Dominion University. Not many of these left. If this is something that you might be interested in, I'd suggest grabbing one. Jimmy at Venture is a great fan of ours, a great customer, and we certainly appreciate doing buses for him. Many of you probably have been to Orlando, and you may or may not have seen the Sunshine Flyers, which are buses that are going all around town. At least they were until the company went bankrupt, sadly, earlier this year. But they had about 40 different buses with different railway motifs on the side, whether it be locomotives or passenger cars. We do have 2 versions, a locomotive and a passenger car. So company no longer in business, but they were associated with Disney and Orlando, and basically commuting people from the airports to the resorts to the cruise ships. So while we still have some left in stock, you may want to grab 1 or 2 of those, especially during our BOGO, where you buy 3 and you get 3 free of any one of 80 different buses. Coming this year, the Orion 5 is going to be a very hot seller. We're hoping to release these in February. A transit bus that many people, of course, know about, operated primarily in New York as well as some other cities. We have 5 different versions coming out, so updates coming on that, but we expect to see those sometime towards the end of January, beginning of February. The Dina Olympico was a very popular bus to this day in Mexico, one of the most favored buses, kind of like the Scenic Cruiser in North America. And we did the 143 scale, which everything sold out on, but now we're coming out with 187, which has been demanded by the Mexican clientele, so look for those. And then speaking of Mexico, we will be releasing this gorgeous Sultana Panoramico, which is one of the only 4-axle buses that I know of. They used 4 axles on some of the roads which had weight restrictions, but this allowed for full passenger capacity and travel and cargo and whatnot by adding that 4th axle. And these are all in die cast. They're not resin, they're not plastic. The front wheels turn left and right, highly detailed. This thing probably weighs about 3 pounds and a full detailed interior. So if you're a collector of interesting buses from around the world, this one in 143 scale will also be releasing in the first quarter of 2024. Speaking of new releases, I'm sure many of you know that Prevost has released their updated version of the H345 coach. We will be releasing that bus in 187 scale as well as 164. Prevost will be the first customer for this bus. Their 100th anniversary is being celebrated in 2024, and we will be delivering that bus to them in the next couple of weeks. This one's probably got a lot of people excited. It's the Nova bus, the LFS series. There is low floor series, diesel, CNG, electric, and we are coming out with a number of different buses in Nova Bus. Of course, New York City, a big operator of Nova Bus, but San Francisco, Montreal, and a couple other cities yet to be determined. So keep an eye out for that also in the first quarter of 2024. Many of you may have seen some of my earlier videos where I talked about the first bus we ever made with Iconic Replicas. That was the Mack BK from 1935. We did it for Greyhound, and we will be releasing a Trailways version this year, also early 2024, in die-cast in 150 scale. So just a neat collectible if you're somebody who's into bus history in North America. This is a neat Trailways version to add to probably the abundance of Greyhound buses that you probably have, because that seems to be the most prevalent company. Aside from that, one of my favorites, let's see, should have talked about this one, the D4000. This is an MCI bus, and this one in particular is the Madden Cruiser. I don't know if many of you are football fans, you probably are, but John Madden was a commentator in the world of the NFL, and he had an aversion to flying. He was just had to be on a bus no matter where he went from coast to coast. And he had his own private Greyhound bus number 0001, and we have modeled that bus in the D4000. So if you're a football fan, you will relate to this bus because it says Madden Cruiser on the side. And hey, John Madden was an awesome guy. He's since passed on, but what a great memento of who he was and how he got around North America, bringing football into our living rooms on a regular basis. This is an interesting piece. We're kind of dabbling in 150 scale. This is the D4500 CT from MCI. It's a commuter coach. It'll come out for New York City as well as a couple of other companies, agencies. It's actually going to be in an ABS plastic, so it reduces the cost on it, but it's going to be highly detailed, will have an interior, will be beautifully painted, and once it's done, you won't be able to tell the difference between the die cast and the actual plastic version that we're producing. So look for this bus, a number of different companies. I'm working with one of the most notable bus painters out there, initials NP. You know who you are, and probably many of you know who he is, but he's been the driving force on this bus. And Nick, can't thank you enough for all your help. You are definitely thumbs up in the bus world community, and certainly at Iconic Replicas. The last bus I want to talk about is this D4000. It's the Iconic Cruiser. And boy, I certainly wish I had a model of this one to drive around because it's such a beautiful bus. But maybe one day, if I keep dreaming and selling buses, I'll have my own. So until then, lots of good things happening at Iconic Replicas. Awesome diecast. Check us out. Of course, we have our BOGO going now. Buy 3 buses and get 3 free. Check us out on awesomediecast.com, and don't miss the bus. Take care.